My name is Andrew Lacey. I'm a sculptor and I usually work in bronze. And the thing that I do along with that is a lot of historical reconstruction for museums. And so this is why I was invited to make this box for Poussin. The reason for making the box is because Poussin used to try to make the composition as a little stage set first, and then make the drawings, and then scale it up to a kind of intermediate size, get that right, and then scale it up again to a life-size thing using human models, get that perfect to make the paintings. So this box is really the first stage to get the composition, the idea of light, the form, and how the fabric falls over the figures. So it's a really great invention, really, because you can try out lots and lots of different ideas. You can change the lighting, you can change the figures, you can stand them anywhere, and play, really just play with the idea of what the form's going to be like, what the painting's going to be like, without having to commit to lots and lots and lots of drawings and preliminary sketches. So this is the machine, really, which makes everything else happen afterwards. So the box is made out of sweet chestnut, beautiful wood. On the outside, it really just looks like a chest. It's literally just a simple linen chest. There's an eye hole at one end, just about 2/3 up, and then there's 2 sliding doors on either side with brass plates over them, and then one on the rooftop as well. So that acts as the lighting, the kind of stage lighting, left, right, and above. And so if you put candles or allowed the sunlight to come in, you could create any sort of ambient lighting that you wanted in there. And then that would just sit literally onto a table, so whatever the table was. Inside is the board, this simple kind of stage set, which is about as large as half of the floor area of the box. And that's dead square and has loads of little holes on it, and the representation of the tiles that you see in the painting are actually grooved into the top of that box to act as a grid reference. Onto that, there's all the figures, all modelled in wax. The way of investigating this, even though there's lots and lots that's been written about it, there's only a few instances of people actually visiting the studio at the time and then recalling or writing down what they saw. So the way of perhaps reinventing this machine was to look at the painting as the primary source. And what would you need? What do you see in the painting that actually describes the necessity of the machine? So, for instance, the floor is one of the good things. It's a tiled floor. It's a stone floor with crisscrossing pattern. But it makes so much sense because you can see that it's, one, a stage set, because you see the front edge of the stone slabs. And also this grid reference that you get means that you can place all the figures time and time again, or in different positions, and keep referencing them. Then there's things like the size and dimension of the room that they're in. It all fits again and again. And so we try to extrapolate from the painting into what would be a real box. And then the other thing was just the practicalities. How big a box can you make? What's the method of making such a thing at that time? So it would have been single panels of wood, dovetail joints at the corners. And in looking at that, there was a really good friend of ours, Robin Williams, who constructed the box. So we worked together to figure out what the box might look like. And one of his ideas that came up is that it's really lovely that artists tend to be magpies. So they will find things, rather than commissioning someone else to make something for them, they'll find things very immediate. So things like a marriage chest, the linen box. It's perfect. It's exactly the right scale and size. It's something that they would have had at that time. And all the sides are dovetailed together, but the bottom of the box is just nailed on. So if you knock that out, you've got the lid at the top, which is exactly the same as ours, and then just put 2 doors at the sides for lighting and an eye hole, you get the exact same thing. And all the proportions, if you work backwards from the painting to the size of the figures, which are these half palm figures, all mean that the box that you'd need to house those happens to be about the same size as a linen chest. And then in the painting, we see the wife who's sitting at the end of the bed is on a linen chest, weeping away. So the whole thing linked together beautifully.